Hi, Florette here with Ink on 3, and thank you for joining me. We are having a fun collaboration hop with Pear Blossom Press. Pear Blossom Press makes these really cool, easy lights where you can make these really fun interactive cards. They also make these collapsible marker bags, which are really cool, which I'm going to show you in a second. So this is the collapsible marker bag, and instead of using it for just markers, you can use it for all kinds of things. And here you can see I put in all the different things from Ink on 3 that I was going to use in my project, as well as the easy lights. And you can see this bag opens and closes. It's got a really nice zipper, and oh my gosh, it's got all these cute sayings on it, and it's just very, very well made. And here you can see what it looks like when you put some markers inside, and it opens and closes, and the quality is just fantastic. Can you tell I really like the bag? And I am just really excited about these lights too. This was the first time I used them, and I can say it was super easy. All the instructions come right on the back. You get 2 sets, so it's really, really fun. And of course, I'm going to show you step by step in this video how to do it. So not only are the directions there, we're going to do it step by step. So let's get started. We're going to use the Magic Dragon stamp set and some blackout detail ink because it's waterproof and really black. And then once I stamp it, I'm going to clean my stamps off real quick since we have an ink off cloth and the ink off cleaner, which makes your stamp cleaning super easy. I used to be really lazy about cleaning my stamps, but now that we have this, I clean all my stamps and it's super quick and super easy. Look at that, and we're ready to go. I also wanted to clean my stamp because now I'm going to do some embossing with our Juicy Clear Embossing ink, and I am going to use a little bit of the clear ultra fine embossing powder. And the reason I'm doing this is these are like really tiny little images, so this will create a nice well and make our watercoloring a little bit easier. So I'm going to heat that up with my heat gun and get our embossing powder all nice and ready for watercoloring. Here's your first sneak peek of one of our new ink colors. Isn't it pretty? Oh my gosh, I love it, and it turned out so good. And here's another one. So I'll be telling you the names of those real soon, so keep your eye peeled for that. So since we're watercoloring, I am using a watercolor paper, and I grabbed our small fine tip water brush pen, and I'm adding a little bit of water onto my little dragon, just a really, really light amount. I actually don't even have water in the water brush pen because it's such a tiny image. I really want to use a minimal amount of water so that I have much better control. What I love about this brush is it's very springy and it keeps its shape, and it has a really, really fine tip, so it's really perfect for these little tiny images. So I'm watercoloring today with the Atelier Artist Grade Fusion ink. It is an amazing ink. I can stamp with it, I can blend with it, and I can watercolor with it. Right now I'm using the pads, and I just swiped a little bit onto a tile there, and I'm starting my coloring very light. I always like to start light and then build my colors up, especially with a tiny little image like that. If I'm doing like a really big petal on a flower, I may start dark and then pull the color out, but since we're working in such a tiny little area, I usually like to go light and then build my colors up as I go along. As you can see, I colored those other images as well. I just kind of put a light coating on those, and then once I was done with those, I came back to my dragon because now he was a little bit dry, and I'm going to start layering on some darker shadows under his little belly, under his chin, under the little arm, and the little leg. When you're doing layers, I always like to let them dry. It doesn't have to be completely dry, but a little bit dry, so that when you go to add your next layer, it's going to be darker, and each time you do that, it'll get darker and darker. And so when you have all of the different variations in color, it's really going to make your little image rounder, and it's going to really make it come to life and almost give it a 3D look. So here I really like to go around the little eye with a little bit more color, almost like giving him an eyeliner, but it really makes his eye look rounded. You can see as I put it on, he almost starts to look three-dimensional. What you're not seeing on screen is I have a cup of water, and every so often I'm dipping into the cup of water, and then I have my ink off cloth to the side, because what you're going to want to do is always kind of dab off your brush onto the ink off cloth or a paper towel or something like that, and it keeps your brush from accumulating too much water so that you have better control. You always want to use less water than you think. Now, if you like using markers for tiny little areas, I grabbed a Tombow blender pen. It's a clear blender pen, and you can use it with the Atelier inks. And you can see here I'm dipping it into the ink, and then I'm going into all the little nooks and crannies as Kathy Rakusin. I love Kathy. She always gives that little tip about the nooks and crannies. So you want to get in there and get that nice, deep, deep, dark color. And I found with these tiny little images, a Tombow marker works fabulous. So I'll dip into the ink, I'll blend it on there, I can blend it out, and then I'll clean off the brush tip on the ink off cloth. So again, you want to have some sort of cloth or something nearby so that you can keep cleaning it off, because I'm only using one pen for all the different colors. So you can see I keep messing with it and getting in all those little crevices, and then I also use it for the little scales on the top because it's a nice fine tip point that I can get in there with, because these are tiny images, and I can also get that nice deep tone, and you can just keep building and building. And now here I want it to get even darker, so to get a really dark tone I'm going to dip right into the Atelier ink pad. Now you can take your paintbrush and dip right into the pad too if you don't want to swipe it on a tile. You just want to make sure that you are using a brush that has very little water on it, and you're going to have a lot more success with less water on your brush anyway. So I'm going to do the same thing with the My Jam Purple and just kind of go around that diamond there and add a little bit more dimension. And it's so fun and so easy to do, and I love being able to use the marker pen with the inks. It's so versatile. And so now I'm going to add a little white up with the gel pen. If your gel pen ever doesn't seem to be flowing, just kind of rub it on your hand a little bit and that will get the gel pen going again. But I love little spots on dragons, so I put a couple little spots and then a couple highlights in some of the gems, and we are ready to go and cut this little guy out with the coordinating dies and move on to the next step. Now we're going to move on to our background, which we're going to attach the lights to. Oh, I can't wait to show you the lights. So here I'm using a Picket Fence Studio brush. It's a really big one. I really like it for this because it can cover a lot of area really quickly, because I wanted just a nice light wash over my whole card front. So this is going to be my card front. I cut it down to a little bit smaller than an A5 card side, so I would have a nice border around it. It's really great to have all kinds of blending tools. And so here I want to get a little deeper around the edges, so I grab a dauber, and you'll see me using the dauber to go around the edges, but then I use the bigger brush to blend again around the edge. Then I'm going to grab a Trinity Stamps blender brush. Now these brushes are great because they have a really small tip at the front, and you can have a lot of control into all kinds of areas. And you'll notice I blended that with the blackout ink, and I did that because I didn't want that real small edge to be water reactive, but I did use the Atelier as well to blend down, and so that section would be water reactive. So you can use our different inks for ink blending as well. So like the waterproof ink, I can blend with that too, and I'm going to get a really, really dark color. But look, I used 3 different blending tools to get this really fun blended background. But now the Atelier is water reactive, so I just grabbed a water mister and misted it a little bit and took my ink off cloth. You can tell I use that ink off cloth a lot. I'm even going to clean my mat now, and then I'm going to grab the stamp cleaner, because not only does it clean your stamps, but you can clean your MISTI or your craft mat like I did here. And now we're going to have another sneak peek of another ink. I'm so excited about the 3 new colors that are coming out, and I can't wait to share the names with you guys. So this is the 3rd ink, and this is actually the re-inker for it, and I'm going to use it to create this really fun starry background. Isn't that so cool? And you're going to see when this background is done, it's going to be really pretty. And of course I'm going to grab some liquid pixie dust so that I also have some shimmer on there, and I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm using our large water brush pen to do that. But look at that background. It's coming along so well, and it's been super easy to do, and I know this is going to look really cute with the dragons. You can set that aside and just let it dry, or you can hit it with your heat gun. So let's get to these easy lights. Gosh, I did not realize how much I would love these. So they come in a pack of 2, and this is how they come. The wire is coiled. You just kind of unwrap that, and then you take the 2 pieces and pop them apart. Super easy. They just pop apart real easy. And each light has 3 little lights so that you can put 3 little lights in your card. And they come with the batteries. Pear Blossom Press really did give these the perfect name, Easy Lights, because they really are easy. So much easier than I ever realized they would be. So now I just cut a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to glue that on so that I have a nice little base for my candle and my gems. And then I heat embossed a piece of vellum with one of the sentiments from the Magic Dragon stamp set, and it says, "Have a magical day." I'm going to take a little glue and wrap my vellum around the back so I don't have to worry about, any glue marks on showing through on the vellum. And I will have all the links to all the products in the description below. So if you're looking for anything, you'll be able to find it there. So now I want to have something that says "Press Me." Since I didn't have a stamp, I just wrote "Press Me Out," and then I grabbed my cut-a-line to cut this sentiment out. It's really nice because you can just take an X-Acto knife, and it's got all these nice little measurements, and you get a perfectly cut sentiment every time. So I'm going to take that and glue it onto a gem. I actually colored an extra gem for this, and I'm just going to flag the end and then glue that onto the diamond or gem. And that's going to be our little button for the "Press Me." So you can see I just put a little more paper glue on the back of that, and I'm going to glue that down. And I had a little bit extra glue on there, so I wiped a little off, and I'm going to press that down on there and then turn it over and cut off the excess so I have like this really nice edge on the gem with the little flag. And I'm going to just glue that right down onto the vellum. And now we're about to get ready and put the lights together. So I want to arrange my card and figure out where I'm actually going to put my lights. So I'm arranging my little pieces that I die cut out, and then I'm going to take a marker and I poked some holes in the pieces that I know I'm going to have lights in, using just like a pokey tool. And you'll see me use that same tool to poke through the card back. But you can see here I'm just putting some dots where I know I'm going to put the lights, and then that kind of gives me a direction on where to poke my little poking tool through. So yeah, you don't even need any special tools, just something that you can poke holes in. So here is the Easy Lights, and you can see you just turn it over and the battery has a plus on it, and then on the back of the unit it also has a plus sign, and then that little button to the right is what activates the lights. And you can see already it's going to work, and then you just decide how you're going to want to place it on the back. So you can see there's the little button, and I want to line that right up where I have the "Press Me." I'm going to grab just any kind of tape you have. I'm using some purple tape, but you could use Scotch tape or washi tape, any kind of tape, just to adhere it to the back. You're going to tape down the actual little battery unit, and then I just took the wire and poked it through the back of the holes and taped those down. And here I'm poking the last one through, and I'm going to take the little light, poke it through the hole, and then kind of just make sure it's nice and flat, and put another piece of tape on that just to hold my wires in place. And we're going to also, here you go, so it doesn't have to be pretty because nobody's going to see the back. We just want it to, and look, oh my gosh, it's already working. So then we're going to put a little foam tape so that the card base is a little higher, so that when you are not using the card or you're going to mail the card, it doesn't keep the light on the entire time. And you kind of just make a little well around it. And that is as easy as the Easy Lights get. So look how easy and how cute is that. I can't wait to make more of these. It's just so fun, and it just really made the card come to life. So I wanted to add a little extra bling, and I love Trinity stamps embellishments, and they have like these little containers to keep them in, and you can see I keep my dies in their little container too. But look at that, I turn the light down so you can see it a little better, and look at the Atelier inks, how rich and pretty and bright those are even after they dry. That's the thing with Atelier, is it stays really true and bright. Look at those easy lights, so cute. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you'll come back. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more fun. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.